it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com, back with another What a Vegan Eats in honor of Vegan MoFo. This is video number 3. I decided today something, or I realized something based on the last 2 videos. The first video I did was all about durian, and the second one was about Brussels sprouts. Both are foods that a lot of people do not like, mainly because they may have never had it in a good dish before. So I realized that my theme for this month is going to be all about working with foods that people don't typically like and seeing if I can come up with some recipes that will make them more appealing. Today's ingredient is cilantro. There are a lot of people that don't like cilantro, and you know what? I found some research that it's actually a genetic disposition. A lot of people don't like the taste genetically. It has nothing to do with you not being open to trying new things, which is probably what I had assumed before. A lot of people think that cilantro tastes like soap. Some people think it tastes like bugs. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I love cilantro. So if you don't really like cilantro, why should you give it a try? And if you do like cilantro, what are the health benefits of it? I found some really interesting little factoids for you here. Number 1 is that it's naturally an antibiotic and antibacterial, so it's capable of destroying viruses and germs that can cause things like cold, so it's great for cold season. It's a good source of fiber. It helps bind to heavy metals in your body. It's a great anti-inflammatory. It's rich in magnesium, iron, and phytonutrients. It can help lower blood sugar. It can also relieve intestinal gas and prevent nausea. It can prevent urinary tract infections, ladies out there. And speaking of ladies, it can also help reduce menstrual cramps and hormonal mood swings. And last but not least, it can help lower your LDL, aka your bad cholesterol, and raise your HDL, your good cholesterol. So those are all really good reasons to incorporate some more cilantro. So if you're on the fence about cilantro, I recommend starting off with a dish that kind of hides it. So today we're going to make a soup recipe and a cilantro pesto. And when cilantro is paired with other ingredients that are very overpowering, you might not taste the cilantro as much. Cilantro is very commonly used in salsa and guacamole, or sometimes in dressings. We can really taste it. So maybe try hiding it if you want to start warming up your palate and getting a little bit more used to it. But if you just can't stand on cilantro no matter what, the great thing is that you can replace cilantro in many recipes with anything from mint to basil to parsley. If you want to jump right to the recipe, just click this link down below. But first, I'm going to start off with the Vegan MoFo question of the day. Actually, I don't even know what that is. Let me see. Well, this is really interesting. I literally just read this question for the first time, and it couldn't be more appropriate for this video. What is a food/ingredient you didn't used to like but now you do? And how did the transition happen? You know, I think that generally I've been very open to foods, so I really can't think of many things that I haven't liked. I'm honestly still to this day not a huge fan of bell peppers. For some reason, I really don't like them cooked. I don't know what it is. I like them raw. Eggplant sometimes. I love the taste of eggplant when it's cooked right. I adore it, but if it's not cooked right, if it's too slimy, or if it's not cooked enough, that's really weird. And some mushrooms kind of bother me. Overall, I am a huge mushroom lover. Like shiitake mushrooms. It's taken me a little while to get used to the flavor. And for me, the biggest way I've transitioned into eating and liking foods is to just trying various dishes with them, having a little bit and working my way up to a lot. And I feel like that's true of any food. If you really just adapt it into your diet, maybe have it once a week or something, try it in all different dishes, you might get creative with it, you might learn to love something. So that's why I always encourage people to have variety, try different things, try a new type of food every time you go to the grocery store. I wanted to tell you about what else I ate today. I haven't had that much, to be honest. I was not that hungry up until 5 or 6 o'clock. So I snacked on a little bit more of that thorny bolognese coconut bacon from yesterday, which is tasty. And then I used some of this rice that, again, was left over from yesterday and did something weird. I mixed it in with sauerkraut and the phony bolognese, and it tasted pretty darn good. It was like a German inspired recipe, you know. They often use bacon and they use sauerkraut, so it was actually very tasty. I thought it was gonna be weird, but it was not. I drank a lot of water, had some more kombucha, and and some chestnuts. I have been so into chestnuts lately, and I've discovered that Evie also really loves chestnut. There you go. Alright, let's jump into these recipes. I've got two for you today. I found two very, very simple things that are inexpensive, and they're going to take us just minutes to make. First one is going to be a carrot cilantro onion soup. So easy, you won't even believe it. The second recipe is a cilantro pesto, which I'm going to put on top of the rice that I had from yesterday. So let's get started. We're going to start with the carrot onion cilantro soup. I started off by dicing up some onion, and I'm going to put this right here in the pot. And we're going to end up using a whole quart of veggie broth. This is organic veggie broth. I'm going to put just a little bit in here at first though, because I want the onions to cook a little bit before I put the rest of the ingredients in. So go ahead and let the onions cook in a little bit of veggie broth for a few minutes until they get to be translucent. That's going to really bring out the flavor of them, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just put all the ingredients and start cooking right away if you wanted to. Alright, so our onions are all nice and ready. Let's add in the rest of the ingredients. So I chopped up 5 small carrots. You can also just do 4 large carrots. Then we're going to do a half a cup of cilantro, and then add in a quart of veggie broth. Here's a little trick that I use. Anytime that I use a measuring cup or another dish and I get stuff stuck in the sides, I pour in a liquid that I'm going to use anyways and use that to kind of swish it around so I get all the last few little pieces. Nothing goes to waste. That's it for the soup. We're just going to let this boil and then simmer for 10 minutes. In the meantime, let's make that cilantro pesto, which is also very easy. We're going to take 1 bunch of cilantro. I've already used some of the cilantro in the rest of the recipe, but this should be plenty. I also like to actually cut the stems. When you're using herbs, the stems still have a lot of flavor, so don't let that go to waste either. Then we're going to dice up some fresh garlic. You can use 1 clove or multiple cloves, depending on how garlicky you like it. Then we're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Make sure to kind of get it around the sides so that it coats it and helps it blend up. Sprinkle in some black pepper and some salt. And I'm going to add in some fresh lime and lemon juice. Pesto is usually easier to make in a food processor because it's wider at the bottom than in a blender. But I'm using one of my favorite kitchen tools, the Blendtec Twister Jar. This makes making things so easy. You just put this thing on top and then you kind of twist around and it gets everything from the sides and brings it inwards. So if you find yourself making a lot of dips, like hummus, various sauces, things that are thicker, this is amazing for it. If you want to check it out, you can click the link down below. If you use that one and decide to get one, you can get free shipping through that. And I also just discovered that they have a ton of refurbished blenders that are a lot less expensive. It's still a big investment, but I'm telling you, this blender comes in handy, and we're going to be using it for both these recipes. It's something that you'll have for a long time when you invest in a really high quality, high speed blender. It's pretty much every chef's favorite kitchen tool. I'm kind of shocked at how easy this was. I put in so much cilantro. I didn't think it was going to be that great. This is why I love the Twister Jar. I've made many types of pesto in not so great blenders that are high speed or really small. Doesn't work so well. So over here, I've been heating up that rice that I made yesterday. I discovered pesto rice a while ago, and I believe I have the recipe up on my site somewhere. It's one of my favorite dishes to make. It's so good. You know, you associate pesto with pasta, but pesto can be great on pretty much any grain, rice, quinoa. So experiment with it. Again, it's all about the variety, right? It also tastes really good with sliced olives in it, and drop those sprinkles of pine nuts, nutritional yeast, and this can also help cut back on that cilantro flavor. So sprinkle some on and mix it in, add that little bit of a cheesy flavor to the dish. It has a decent cilantro flavor, but it's not too overpowering. I read that when cilantro is kind of pressed down and has some time to breathe, so even when it's diced up, it actually starts to release some of the extreme flavor. So give your cilantro some time to breathe and you might find it less overwhelming. I'm gonna go enjoy this while that cooks, and then we'll be back in a minute. This is how much I loved this pesto. It just tasted really fresh. It was the right balance of all those ingredients, had that just nice fragrant flavor, and it wasn't like cilantro, it was more just like a nice herb in here. So try this, please, okay? And add in a few other things if you want to dull down the cilantro flavor. All right, well, the soup should be ready to go. Smells good. Now, I've heard that some of you do not like carrots very much, or even onions, so this might be a good recipe to try to see if you can start to enjoy carrots and onions. A lot of you don't like cooked carrots, but I find that when carrots are pureed, it's more, less of that weird texture of a cooked carrot. But carrots can be really, really sweet and delicious in soups, as are onions, and we'll see how the cilantro does. So, you can pour this right into the blender so that you don't spill and burn yourself. Again, this is another reason why I love having a big blender. I used to try to blend soups in this tiny little blender I had. Didn't work so well. Wow. It's so simple. I mean, I can't believe how few ingredients went into this, but it's got the sweetness of the carrots, it's got that great fragrant flavor of the cilantro, but it's very subtle. And the onions do their thing and add in a little bit of that oniony, savory zest that the onions have. You could add in a little bit of salt if you wanted, and whatever other flavors you want to put in here. You know what'd be good? Potatoes. I wasn't at a store that had organic potatoes today, so I didn't have any, but that would be great. It would add that kind of heartier, thicker consistency in here. And if you do want your soup to be thicker, this comes out pretty thin. You could use less veggie broth as well. Experiment, add some different veggies in, see what they taste like. And again, I think this is a great way for you to try out some veggies that you don't normally like. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed these two recipes. I can't wait to hear what you think. What are some ways you've gotten used to cilantro if you have not always liked it? What do you think of the health benefits? What are some of your other favorite recipes? And are you really just totally against cilantro? And if so, what have you found works really well as a replacement in other recipes? I love hearing from you. Thanks so much for watching. Please let me know what other foods you want to see on my videos for Vegan MoFo. I'm featuring all these foods that people don't typically like for another, what do we have, 27 days, 26 days, somewhere around there. And I can't wait to bring them to you. Don't forget to check out ecovegangal.com. Follow me on all those social media networks. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And please subscribe so you're the first to know when I have a new video coming out. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.